What's up, everybody? It's Too Generic, back at it again with your host Cam and
Rich.
And today, Rich has got a Pat Spencer mustache. And that's what the show's about.
Yeah, I seen him get ejected the other night, and that just, I don't know. I just love a team player like that. Go out, stick his neck out for his teammates, even when they're losing. You just got to respect it. So that's the inspiration behind it.
And basketball is not even his best sport.
What other sport does he play?
He won the Heisman in lacrosse.
See, he's like Chris Hogan with football.
Right. Elite.
Yeah.
Like you with baseball. You know, you love basketball because it's easily – like you could go play basketball by yourself, you know, but your best sport, you're a pitcher. Yeah. But you're not going to go play pickup baseball somewhere. Who plays pickup baseball? Where are you going to find 18 people to have 9 people on each roster and you got pitchers, you got bullpens? Where are you going to find that shit? So
who am I going to throw the ball to? I'm going to throw it off a wall or something.
Just another Pat Spencer just ends up a baller.
Yep. So shout out Pat Spencer. I'm making the league a couple years from now.
Big facts.
Mm-hmm.
I see Pritchard make it. I feel like if I stayed in shape, I could have had a run after Pritchard, popped off this season.
You could have been 6th man.
I could have. I think I could. I could go on like Portland. I could make it happen on Portland.
Be the backup for Simons.
Well, Scoot.
Oh, you'd be 3rd string.
I'd be like 3rd string.
Damn.
But then I'd find my way because they're always out in different stuff,
All right. Well, they're faking.
Plus, I could play down. I'm like a small ball 4 in some lineups. In my prime, I'm like a 5'10" Precious Achua if I want to be. I can eat glass. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll be out there. I'll be like a 5'10" Al-Farouq Aminu on the Portland Trailblazers.
You getting O boards like that, huh?
I'm getting it. I'm assisting. I'm defending. I'm beating the offense to the spot, pushing them out the paint.
That was prime Cam at MLK.
That was MLK.
It was prime.
Half court, nah.
Come on now.
I was prime Cam at Blunt Park. I was prime Cam at Forest Park, Hubbard Park.
No one wants to see you at MLK half court. I promise you.
MLK half court in my prime.
I promise you, no NBA player wants that problem.
Nobody wants that problem.
Guarantee it.
Speaking of also somebody have problems with is Tatum and Timbs.
Tatum and Timbs. He's a different.
And that's the title of our pod today, actually. Tatum's Timbs, and the screenshot is just a zoom in of Tatum's Timbs. And that's the type of energy we had to bring. We had to wear the Timbs over there in New York and come out of there with the W.
That's such a fire name. I'm going to have to change the league name to that now.
Tatum's Timbs?
Tatum's Timbs is too fire.
Yeah.
That's...
I'm just dropping bars early.
No bullshit.
See the inspiration. I seen Tatum's Timbs, and I'm like, that's it. That's the name of the show, and might have to change it. Maybe next year's fantasy league for NBA.
We should just change the Too Generic to Tatum's Timbs.
Tatum's Timbs, and that's what the show is about. We just talk about Tatum's shoes and reminisce over this game where he dropped 27, 9, and 7 and really lit the Garden on fire.
On 40% shooting from the field.
Yeah.
Yep. But a win is a win.
A win is a win. And we take it.
And he went 5 and 9 from 3. So.
Right. We take those. I actually had an insane parlay going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one short. And the only thing I was short on was I took the Red Demon, Pascal Siakam, but I took it up to the highest Red Demon you possibly could take, which was 3.5 assists, which honestly is not crazy for Siakam because he's a playmaker. And anyway, it was only for a half was the green one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the regular was 1.5. 2.5 was a red demon, and then 3.5. I should have just did the first 2.5 red demon because it was for $5 for $5.60.
Man. And he had 3 assists.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I should have just did the 2.5 instead of the 3.5. But I hit a 3.5 with him the other day.
And if he played the full game, you probably would have gotten it. He only played 28 minutes.
Exactly. He didn't play the fourth. It was a mess. I'm like, oh my God.
You really should.
I had it in the bag. Everything hit. Like even it was cats. It was a campaign. A Jamal Murray assist. It was everything was in a line except just one off. And I said it. I literally said it while I was doing it. I said, I feel like this is going to be the reason between a green ticket and a red ticket. And I went with it. I said, fuck it.
And you won a campaign parlay.
Yeah, I had campaign in the parlay. I had Cat Jamal Murray. It was the riskiest of risk. And yeah, I should have cheaped out on the Siakam, but I really think highly of the guy. I mean,
not anymore.
Because the offense slowed down, but the problem is Pacers really stink when the offense slows down. But that's when Siakam's pretty damn good, is in a half-court setting. He could give you some, Walgreens, Walmart brand Giannis stuff in a half court where he could play make a little bit. He offers a mismatch to a lot of people. And he's just like a big forward. He's 6'9" and can play make.
And they were kind of coming back in that.
And he loves to attack the rack. So he's hard to guard. And right. And they were coming back a little bit. Yeah. But the fourth, they just gave up.
Yeah. And he was part of it. It was really Siakam, Mathurin, and McConnell who brought them back. They got it down to 11. And then the Cavs used a timeout, and then Mitchell started hitting some shots to close it out.
Sonny's already meowing. Chill out. And he's upset about the parlay, too.
I would be, too.
He probably had one with Siakam. He tailed me.
All right. Or he's more shocked that a campaign parlay hit.
Right? God damn it.
Sonny knows ball.
Right? Sonny knows ball. But anyway, happy Mother's Day. This is the Mother's Day episode. So, happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Anyway, we can start with the UFC 315. How early do you want to start on these prelims?
The first one.
Katana.
Yeah, he got slept with an uppercut.
I actually didn't see that. The first fight that I flipped into was the Silva Barrial because you called me.
Yep. Had him looking like Peter Griffin with that knockout.
Peter Griffin with the arm behind it.
The arm in the back.
Oh, yeah, the uppercut. Slipped it right in there.
Yeah, then he had a couple follow-up shots.
Yeah. Oh, smooth. It was pretty smooth. Yeah, that Bruno Silva finish. Oh, my gosh. He had to leave in a stretcher.
I know. And he was unconscious for a few minutes, too. That was scary.
Yeah. And then he said he had some pain in his neck or something like that. It might have just been from the force because it wasn't an illegal shot. I heard that later in the broadcast. Bruno Silva apparently was claiming he had neck pain. Well,
he had
from the force.
Yeah,
it hit up here. So yeah, it might have been from the force or something, but definitely no illegal blow.
No, the neck injury is never good either.
There was an illegal blow. I gotta call it out. For one, this card got the best of us. 2, Navajo Sterling got worked in the first round. I don't know what happened to Urslan in the third, where he just crumbled in the last 2 minutes. But Sterling took away the victory, and I will say he's still a paper tiger. I don't believe in him.
Yeah,
Urslan gave him the thing at the end, and then Sterling was doing illegal blows at the end because he was rolling and he was trying to roll and cover, but he kept hammer fist in the back of the dude's head. And even the announcers at some point, whole time were meat riding Navo Sterling, even when he was losing the first round. The first round ended, and they were like, the bell rings, they go to the corner, and they're just like, yeah, Navo Sterling, oh! Like they had a script to go by, and it kind of changed once Urslan was doing his thing. But yeah, I don't know. The third round happened, and I think for the last 2 minutes of him just washing him on the ground, and Urslan's kind of just rolling, taking blows, but rolling, staying active, not getting TKO'd. It just left a stain on the judges, I feel like, and I think he might have even got some 8s that round.
Yeah, I haven't been overly impressed with Sterling through his first 2 fights, but he's 2-0.
What they say in the short period that he's fought, and they say all this stuff, I don't know. I just want to see him get tested more. And I guess last night was a test. He did beat Arslan.
Yeah, and he's still undefeated. He's still young. Right. He's still really young in his MMA career. That's only 7 fights for him. So
yeah,
he was only up from here.
Let's see how old he is. Actually, he's 27.
Yeah, so he's still pretty young.
Right. Yeah. So, who knows? Who knows? He might be pretty good. He might be a project in the making. I guess he's from New Zealand. I know that.
Yeah, he fights with Izzy.
Yeah, he fights with Izzy. Next thing I was gonna say.
Did you see the Andrade loss?
Oh yeah.
I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, but it was like, she got her just under the neck. She got her out of there.
It's time for her to hang it up, I think.
Kutelaba, it was a good fight. This Bukakis guy, he's decent.
I thought Kutelaba won the fight, to be honest.
It was even, but if anything, Kutelaba looked a little more gassed. He showed a little bit more damage. And when he gets all sweaty and the hair's all over his face and his face is red and this guy's kind of just more chill, I don't know. It just looked like Kutelaba was taking more damage and this guy was a little more reserved. But I think he's decent. I don't know. Kutelaba definitely threw a lot more, but it felt like this guy was just like playing really good defense on all of it.
Yeah, Kutelaba threw 94 more total strikes.
It was a lot of slop.
That's what it is.
Guy made of it.
Kutelaba, it's a mess. That's what it is with Kutelaba. The fight is usually a mess, whether he wins or loses.
Yeah, it really was just sloppy. It was a lot of stuff, volume, but not really. Or what do they say? It was quantity, not quality.
Quality.
A lot of quality from Bukakis. And he just showed like more poise and precision with everything. And right. I think that actually will bode well in the UFC. So this is his first fight in the UFC. They're using Kutelaba as a measuring stick and some sort of gatekeeper right there at that level now.
Right.
And we were saying it. Kutelaba, he doesn't fight bums. So also, I think this might be something. The next fight for Bukakis, he's going to win.
No matter what, underdog or not.
Yeah, underdog or not, I think the next fight he's going to win. That was like something. Like we said, Kutelaba doesn't fight bums. His L's are not bad L's. And he has some decent wins.
He has some.
And we'll see. Is this a bad L or is it not? You know what I'm saying? Some people lost to Khalil Roundtree and they were like, oh, you're a bum. That dude eventually got to the belt. Didn't win it, but he got a title shot. You know what I'm saying? So you fought a contender. You just didn't know it yet.
Right. He fought Pereira pretty well too.
Right, and he fought him pretty fucking well
until that fourth round. But.
So that's what I'm saying. You never know. We just always got to keep an eye out for these type of things and be vigilant.
What about the Mike Mallet knockout?
Ooh, that was smooth. He actually dropped him twice. He hit him with the same combo, kind of stunned him for a little bit, and it kind of proved that he could get that combo again because the dude didn't have any answer for it, and then he was just into recovery, and trying to move on to the next thing. But I like seeing the Canadian sweep.
Mm-hmm.
All the Canadians won for the most part, other than Furiat.
Well, no, Katona lost.
Oh, and Katona. I mean, the first fight of the night.
Katona lost and Prepelic lost.
But I mean, what is it, like 2 out of 9 lost?
Yeah, most Canadians won. I mean,
that's a Canadian sweep in Canada. That doesn't happen often.
I mean, Aldo got robbed.
Remember the France one where like all the French people lost or something?
Yeah.
That one was brutal.
But Aldo got robbed.
Oh yeah, Aldo got robbed. When you were saying what's his name, you thought Cutelaba could have won it. Honestly, I don't think that. I think it's the opposite. I think this guy got robbed.
Yeah, I thought it was much more clear that Aldo won that fight. He won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I really think Aldo's the one who really got robbed last night. The Sabi guy, he kind of put pressure at the end, but for the most part, like Aldo was taking him to school the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, but the third round was really bad.
It was.
I mean, it looked like he was going to finish Sahibi, hit him with that soccer kick. Oh, yeah. And then it kind of seemed like he stopped pressing him or he just stopped throwing. And then he was backing up. Then he looked at the clock and he was just gassed those last 2+ minutes. I mean, I thought the fight was going to get ended because Sahibi was throwing all those elbows and the punches on top. Mm-hmm. It was not looking good.
It looked the exact same as the Urslan fight for a long time. First 2 rounds, you're like, this guy's winning it. Looks like the better fighter. Looks like the more like tactical, skilled fighter right now. Doesn't matter about athleticism or anything. This guy kind of looks more professional. And then the third round happens. They gas out. And then these guys who didn't look so hot the first 2 rounds end up pulling out. So it's something about cardio. Could be coaching, It could be some sort of strategy that they're just rope-a-doping and saying, hey, some of these guys will just gas out, and no matter what, you're going to win in the third. Yeah. If you could withstand 10 minutes of hard cardio, you just survive. You take some hits, you throw some blows yourself, obviously. You're not going to stand there and not throw anything. But you're not going to gas out. You're not going to go all in. You're going to fight 65, 70% and just keep it smooth. And then when the third round comes around, you could go 85-90 to where this guy's probably going 60-50 and he's tired and, everything else.
And he hit him with that. But once he hit him with that soccer kick, I thought it was over.
Yeah, me too. Especially from Aldo. Aldo's like a famous leg kicker and everything else.
And I didn't think he really used the leg kicks a whole lot last night either. I thought earlier in the fight he did, and then I thought he kind of slowed down with it. But I can't believe how – I mean, I thought that the second round was closer than the first round. And I think, all 3 judges, right, all 3 judges gave the second round to Sahibi, which was
BS to me.
Shocking to me.
I don't know if they rewrote history when in the third round, after the third round, because that's not what I seen.
That's what I mean. I think the third round played a big part in that. Because the third round, I feel like, I don't know if it would be a 10-8 because, it was just so dominant those last 2 minutes. It seemed like those last 2 minutes the fight could have been stopped at any time because Aldo wasn't really throwing anything back. He was just staying on his back trying to survive, but he wasn't really moving. So, I feel like that fight could have been ended. So maybe if they gave a 10-8 to the third round. But, Aldo also was great in the first half of the third round. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate he lost it. That's what I'm saying. Like he basically fought 2 1/3 better than the other guy and lost.
Right.
Without a finish. I don't know. I just don't agree with that.
And now he retires again.
Right, he retires, and I think this time is for real.
Right.
And it feels weak, and it's like he shouldn't have went out like that.
Mario Batista and Sahibi.
That's the next one?
No, I'm saying Mario Batista. That was his last loss. When he was just up against the fence.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you were saying, like, Mario Batista's going to fight Zahibi next.
No, I never want to see Batista fight again after what he did to Aldo.
Yeah. Fuck Batista. Maybe that has to be the fight.
Send him out there to fight Pereira or something.
He's got to go out there and fight Ritter.
He's fighting what? He's fighting Robert Whittaker.
I don't know. The Riddler and Whittaker, you know? It's going to be interesting.
I think that's in June or July or something.
I think the Ritter is going to do some damn dirty things to Robert Whittaker.
That's July 26th.
What do you think?
I'm taking Whittaker.
You're taking Whittaker. I'm taking the Ritter.
I'm done with this hype train.
Don't be done with the hype train.
The hype train ends.
Bro, he's literally the double champ from 185 and 205 from whatchamacallit. What fight league did he come from? Why am I drawing a blank?
One.
Yeah, he was with One. And One's really competitive.
Yeah. But this is the UFC.
Yeah. All I gotta say is Rainier the Ritter is pretty fucking good.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I feel like he's gonna fuck Whittaker up. He's gonna fuck him up bad. Well, like you said, we'll see. We'll see.
What about the Silva fight?
Oh man, she's throwing blows.
That was tough. She had that little side kick to the face. That was
Sweet chin music.
The little sweet chin music.
She really hit her with it.
You didn't get slept though.
No.
Man, I thought Silva was just running the whole fight. She was so hard to catch. It was annoying.
Well, it's Grasso. She wants to tackle you and pull you to the ground and just that.
And she wants to box too. And Silva didn't really want to box. I mean, she was throwing, and Silva was getting her with those leg kicks too.
Because it's the box for the threat of the takedown. You know, that's where Grasso is. That's her bread and butter. She wants to take you down, and then even if she can't take you down, she's going to make that the threat. So now your hands are a little lower. Your feet are a little set a little differently. You know, everything is a little different once you now think you're not only boxing, but you're doing MMA.
And she wasn't really trying for the takedowns that much. She only had 2 takedown attempts, and then I guess she got really discouraged with Silva's defense.
Yeah. Yeah, Silva had pretty clean defense. It was shocking. So I've seen people really struggle against Grasso.
Right. So now you would think Silva's next after Dior. I mean, she'll be. This Grasso was number 1. I think Silva was number 5, so she's next in line for the belt.
Do you think it's time she's gonna pass it off Shevchenko and Silva?
I heard they were saying they were trying to have Whaley fight Shevchenko at 125.
Whaley at 125.
Or was it Shevchenko going down? I heard about that fight, that they might be doing that. That'd be interesting.
That would be. Whaley and Shevchenko.
I do want to see Silva first, though.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Because Silva's on some crazy winning streak, too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then the finale. Jack Della Maddalena versus what?
You called it.
I did. Last second.
Mm-hmm.
Last second, I watched that interview with Nina Drama, and he was dry as a bone.
Mm.
You could hear it in his voice. You could just hear everything. Like, he had nothing in him. And I'm like, all right, that's it. Let me listen to Jack. Listen to Jack. Jack pulls in there. He's got his normal voice. He's chilling, everything else. It just looked like two different people. And that's what I seen. And I seen one guy really struggling through a weight cut and struggling through the toe. We know about his toe. Did you see the foot?
I saw it. It's gross. Yeah, I saw the foot.
You saw blown up his whole foot was, and then he had that one red toe with the white infection scab.
Yeah. Right,
oh my God, it was so gross. It was so gross. Just thinking about it. Oh my God. Like, I just knew. This wasn't going to be Bilal's night, no matter what. It just is what it is. Plus, Islam wants to come to 170. So there's already this, like, vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just this vibe with it that you know that you have to, like, kind of give this spot up because that's your teammate. And he's you know, they probably know. They're training partners and stuff. He probably knows Islam would whoop him out if they really fought. He probably beats him in sparring and stuff. So it's like, all right, man, you want your spot, whatever. But this is on the worst terms to give up your belt, to do it because you're sick and everything else. And you want to maybe hand the belt off, but not get your ass whooped while you're at it.
But he got both.
Right. And he went through the whole 25 minutes.
Yeah. I don't like that matchup for Della Maddalena.
He didn't take the easy way out. I respect that part.
Well, we know Bilal's
a hard fight for him internally and mentally to get through this.
But we know Bilal's going to decision. I mean, it's a Bilal fight.
Right. It's a Bilal fight. We know that much.
Not going to be a finish, most likely.
No.
But I don't like that matchup for Jack against Islam. Like, imagine how dangerous Islam is going to be. He doesn't have to cut an extra 15 pounds. To me, that's scary. For whoever's at 170 now.
Whoever's at 170, it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah,
he's going to come out there and just body somebody.
Yeah, so I think if they do the Islam and Jack fight right away, I would probably take Islam.
Yeah, if they do it right away. What round? 5-round fight. What do you think happens? End result.
I don't know, because Makhachev can do both. He's got some really clean striking. His boxing. Imagine how much power he's gonna have now. I don't know. I'm gonna say Makhachev KO in the third.
KO in the third.
Mm-hmm.
I think TKO first.
From Makhachev.
First 2 minutes.
From Makhachev.
Yes.
Damn.
I think it's just like an all-out, almost Khabib style, just rush in, boom, 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 get it done. You know.
But next week we got the real.
He's gonna be what's his name? Almost forgot his name. Can't even remember his name. Who is he?
Bilal Muhammad.
Kazmat Chimaev. Where is he? Where's he been?
When's he fighting? I forgot.
He's about to be no name. We got to come up with a name for this guy. He's just missing. MIA.
Yeah, when is he supposed to?
He went AWOL. I don't don't understand it. When is he coming back?
No.
I haven't heard anything about this man, Chimaev.
Because it should be him and Duplessis fighting.
Right.
For the belt.
And I think it probably will be. But they're trying to set up the Ritter.
But I think Duplessis was hurt. Or maybe he doesn't want to fight Chimaev.
Must be.
He'd rather fight DeRitter or Whitaker. Well, he already beat Whitaker.
Yeah. And he would – that's what I'm saying. So DeRitter is going to beat Whitaker. DeRitter is then going to fight like Duplessis for the belt because they're probably going to set it up like that. I think that's what's going to happen.
And Makhachev still won't have fought.
Well, that's a different weight class. I'm talking about 185.
Hamzat's 185.
Oh, yeah,
185. Hamzat isn't. Yeah, Hamzat's 185.
Yeah, Hamzat's 185. Yeah.
When was the last time he fought?
He could do 170. He could do 185. He could do either one. He's the interchangeable piece.
Yeah, but he's not going to make that 170. It's going to be too much of a weight cut for him.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think Chimaev can do it.
I don't know. He fought in October. Yeah, he beat Whitaker in October.
7 months ago, he can't drop weight in 7 months of training and doing everything and getting paid millions of dollars from the UFC. Can't figure that out.
Leave him
can't figure out a way to lose 10 pounds in 7 months.
Leave him at 185. Jesus.
What happened?
I just heard something outside. We got the real main event next week, though.
Yes, we do.
Morales.
We do. The GOAT is stepping into the ring with Gilbert Burns.
And he's minus 725. That's crazy to have like that kind of main event set up and the guy's that big of a favorite. That's not even fair.
Well, that's when you take Burns just for the bet.
Yeah, Burns is plus 450.
For the bet. But I stand by what I always was saying. I mean, from the beginning of this pod, Michael Morales is a legend in the making.
Mm-hmm. I agree. He's got an 8-inch reach advantage.
Well, who else, did I call on the come up? I was talking Diego Lopez when he's on early prelims, and I'm talking about this guy's got elite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably sounded insane at the time, right? And then he's going toe-to-toe with Volkanovski.
Fought for the belt.
I'm screaming about Diego Lopez.
Ball.
Bahamondes. What about that? Like I was Ignacio Bahamondes is on the come up, keeps winning. Been on a win streak, 4-fight win streak since I've been talking my shit about Bahamondes. Always sliding through with the dub.
He's nice.
There's a couple guys on the come up, and I'm telling you, Michael Morales is the best of them all. It's not even close.
Striking's too clean.
The wrestling's too clean. The jiu-jitsu's too clean. The kickboxing's too clean. Like everything. And he's huge for the weight class.
Yeah, he's got such a huge reach. That's crazy.
Huge.
I don't even know how Burns is going to try to take him down, or he's just going to try to strike with him.
6 feet, 6'7" wingspan against Burns, who's 5'8", 5'10" wingspan. So it's like, I don't know. It's a lot of reach. It's a lot of everything. It's a lot of youth. Burns is older, but it could be this vet thing, It could be he could just be older and wiser in some ways and more experienced in these big fights, main events, 5 rounds. I think that's the only case where Gilbert Burns can really win this is with the cardio. Even against Chimaev Chimaev is tough as nails. And he, one, couldn't finish Burns. And two, had the cardio once Chimaev burned out.
Right, because you thought in that first round of the fight, it was over for Burns. And then he came back and fought pretty well in the second and third. And definitely won.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Burns is some guy you go easily walk through and get a check, you know? Like, that's not what a fight with Gilbert Burns is. It's not easy. It's not easy money. As Chael would say, you should always get the easiest fight with the biggest paycheck.
Good advice.
But he always would say when he would fight, and that was his mindset on his way up, until eventually you have to, fight for the belt. You're winning enough fights and everything else. But he said he would always try to align himself with the easiest fight with the best paycheck. And that is not the case with Gilbert Burns. That's not an easy night of work.
Yeah, and Burns has really fought everybody.
No. So I question Michael Morales' like cardio and stuff like that. We'll see that in question. I have seen him kind of gas out a little bit in some parts of fights later into it.
All right.
I think that's his one flaw, is potentially the cardio's not all the way there. But how could you blame him? I mean, but he's a weight bully. At the same time, does he fit in 185? And you got guys who are also, 6'4", 6'3", running the division.
Right.
I don't know if you have the chance there either. So, like, 170 seems to be his spot. It's just hard with his body type because he's just so, like, muscular. Pause. Right. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's really, like, puffed up to where there's guys in the division who are like Sanhagen. I mean, he's not in that weight class. But it's like, some guys are built like that, and some guys are built like Figueiredo, but they fight each other.
Right.
One guy's puffed up like Figueiredo, built like a rock. And that's kind of Morales' body type is more like Figueiredo. But you're seeing that in a 170-pounder, and it's really scary.
Right.
And I think he's got, like, the right mindset. He grew up in the gym. His mom's, owns the gym.
That helps.
I think it's something like that. And it's one thing if your dad owns the gym and your mom's, like, not, like, into combat or wrestling or anything like that. And this is a Mother's Day pod, so this is a major shout-out to that. You know what I'm saying? But, like, if your mom's raising you in it, I feel like there's just like there's just like an extra love and appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's really into it now, it's there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like us with Erykah Badu. We grew up hearing Erykah Badu, so we still got it in our playlist.
And then we waited at her concert
And then we waited at Camp Flognaw for 30 minutes for her to come out for 15.
We could have listened to the Flute guy.
Right. I could have seen Andre 3000, which that's what she was doing. During her set, she was at Andre 3000's set listening to his. And then was like, after 20 minutes of the flute, once he put the flute away, she's like, all right, now I'll go sing for what I'm paid to do.
I'll go do half of my job.
I'll do half my job, barely. Not even.
For the time she was on the stage, it was great, though.
It was. The energy was lit.
For the 15 or 20 minutes, whatever it was.
The real fans that were still there, grinding it out, we were excited. Man. Yeah, that's what I think. Michael Morales for the dub. I think he's future champion. Like I said, born and raised in the gym, and that's why he's going to get the dub.
Yes, sir.
He's putting the time, and he's going to pass the test. Unless, like I said, the vet. Just a vet. He outlasts him, and then by the 4th and 5th, he puts it on him, and then maybe Gilbert Burns gets some weird shot that he gets murked for, that he shouldn't, a fight that he shouldn't even be in,
Right.
you know? Because what's next for Burns?
I don't know. It's been nothing but big names for him.
If Burns, let's look at the rankings right now.
He's got
UFC.
Morales is 12th. Burns is 8th.
You already got it pulled up, word.
Yeah.
You said Morales is what?
Morales is 12th.
Yeah, Morales is 12th. Burns is 8th. So like, yeah, if Burns loses, he drops down below and goes to the Luques and the Michael and the Venom page. I don't know. I think Miles Morales is better than Wonderboy Thompson right now. That's just me. Like he should be above there at 11. Jeff Neal, we'll see. He'll probably get tested. I think Buckley is going to get a title shot. I think he's going to take out Usman.
Yeah. Kind of a weird spot Morales is in after this Burns fight if he wins it.
Yeah, I think it's Morales. He climbs up, and then you put him with Gary. And you know what?
But is he going to fight him? Is Machado Gary going to go down to fight him? I mean, he's 6th. He's fighting somebody 8th in the rankings.
Right. Oh, finally, the cat is using his thing. I got it on camera. It's proven. Hey, good boy, Sonny. Good boy. I gotta give him a treat. I keep his treats right here. Good boy, Sonny. Let me hook you up. There you go. Salud.
Thank you.
There you go, Sonny. Because, yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. Colby Covington, Morales is taking him out. Jeff Neal, I think he's taking him out. Burns taking him out. Buckley is dangerous. I feel like he's figured something out about his game, and he's gotten better.
Yeah, that knockout on Wonderboy, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was nuts. That was tough to watch.
Then you got JDM, who's right now, not even on the UFC website, is changed. He's ranked 5th. So Bilal's going somewhere.
Right.
Sean Brady. That would be.
He's number 1.
Yeah. Like even Rachmanov versus Michael Morales, I think is very interesting. I think Michael Morales beats Leon Edwards. I think Usman might be the toughest fight out of everybody because, or maybe Bilal on a comeback, healthy, it would be scary too.
But I could see Usman retiring after this Buckley fight if he loses or if he gets knocked out. Because
He's going to lose.
That'll be 4 straight losses for him.
It's going to be bad. He's
going
to lose.
It's I feel like it's just a tough fight for him. And Buckley's really active. He's always moving. Usman has terrible knees.
No knees. And Buckley's going to dance around him. It's going to get ugly.
But I don't think it's going to be good. If he throws leg kicks to Usman, oh.
You think it's a one-rounder?
I could see it, honestly. I hate to doubt Usman after the reign he had at welterweight, but now it just, with somebody like Buckley, I don't see how that goes well for him.
Right.
And he also hasn't been in the octagon since October of 2023. So a year and a half, over a year and a half.
And he's beaten. You think he could beat Gary?
Who are we talking?
Well, you were saying Buckley, and potentially who Buckley's going to beat, Usman.
Yeah, but why would Buckley fight Gary now if he's fighting Usman? He's going to be ahead of him in the rankings. I could see, but I think, I don't know. They're both pretty active. I mean, Buckley's
They're
more
active. They're of the same kind of age class too.
Yeah,
maybe they're saving them for something in the future potentially.
Right. I think Gary probably has. Well, Gary has the better reach, and Gary's got pretty good grappling too. We've seen.
No, but they just had this little. They had this little spat at the weigh-ins with the baby and his wife, and the wife touched his arm or something. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, and they met up at the UFC PI like a year or two ago or something. They were talking trash or something. So
right, and I think they're both big talkers, and this is all aligning. And the only way I think that Buckley fights Gary would be if he beats Usman.
Yeah, so if Buckley beats Usman, Buckley should be fourth, and then maybe Machado gonna wait. He's gonna wait for Buckley because then Buckley's gonna be ahead of him. So he gets the bigger name or the bigger story in the fight, and then you're fighting a guy that's higher in the rankings too, inside the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting regardless. But I think that's a fight trying to get set up because they're working outside of the cage for it.
Yeah.
They're trying to make some money. I just don't know who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of already have the story built up a bit. So you don't really have to sell the fight too much. I mean, it's a fight to put together, you would think.
Yeah, I think it would be a good fight to put together.
Yeah.
I do. I agree. Anything else on this card? I mean,
the Valentina fight was pretty.
Lisner Sultan's fighting. He makes 185 at 6'5". He's a legend. Flash Gordon, Thiago Moses fighting.
Oh, Jared Gordon's back. Nice.
Oh, Park Young-sung's fighting too.
This isn't a terrible card.
Yeah, not the worst.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad for an Apex card.
And it's Blanchfield, Barber. You know what's funny?
Oh, next.
Remember last week you said that the UFC girl fights you snapped and said that all the fights have been boring lately. It's been terrible. Chael came out with a video like this week, said the same exact thing. Because Sonny is pissed.
Yes. I shouldn't have said that then.
You shouldn't have pissed him off. Talking about the girl fights. He loves women's MMA. He supports women's fighters.
Oh my God.
Fighters' rights. Anyway.
But that Shevchenko fight was boring as hell, was it not?
It's so funny because Chael came out with the video a few days ago, right after your rant last weekend on Sunday, and it was the same rant. You can play the video, listen to you, and then listen to Chael. Days later, and he basically took the words right out your mouth and said the same things. It's pretty funny. And
typically, if it's not a title fight, it's usually pretty horrible. But last night was not a great title fight either.
Yeah.
And then the Silva and Grasso fight wasn't that good. I mean, Silva was just running around the octagon the whole time. It wasn't that good of a fight, aside from the sweet chin music she had on her.
And yeah, the women's division, like they gotta add some pop. They gotta do something because I don't know.
That's why Nunes is supposed to come back. Come back and fight Kayla Harrison.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd rather see a Nunes fight.
What about Shevchenko, Kayla Harrison?
Why?
Shevchenko's got to put on some weight.
Shevchenko's still too small if she puts on the weight.
She got to eat a couple power bars.
No, Harrison's gonna kill her.
Harrison would just maul her and drag her on the cage like a gorilla.
And Harrison's gonna kill herself trying to make this 135. She looks terrible when she cuts the weight down to 135.
Yeah, because her everything. She's just huge.
Yeah, she's
Big
not
legs, big back, arms. Like she's just like a bigger person. For her to drop to 135,
it's just not in body type, really.
Yeah, not her body type. If it was like maybe even like a 140, I mean, because there isn't a 145.
No.
If there was, it would be solid.
Right.
You know, I think it's interesting why they don't have a heavyweight class for women. What?
What would the weight be?
What would the weight? It would be like the heavyweight class for men. It would be a very wide range. So you know how, I mean, for like there's 145, 155, 170, 185, 205, then it's 225, I think, right? Or 220.
I feel like it's 220.
220? All right. So it's 220 to 165. There's a gap now. For heavyweight, you could be anywhere within 45 pounds.
Yeah.
So they need that in a women's division. So they need to do 150 to 180. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think
30-pound gap.
Then I think Harrison wouldn't lose ever.
And then you put Harrison there, and she runs the fucking show and builds it out for the next 3-4 years. And she's the star while you have, some up-and-comers. The person who beat her, by the way, if you let that person get to –
Pacheco?
Pacheco. If you let her get to 150 and also get some run in that division, oh, my God. Pacheco with some, real muscle and stuff and can really just throw some weight around. Holy shit.
That'd be pretty cool. I just don't know if they have enough people. If they just have those two fighters to try and promote it, I don't know if that's enough.
I know, but they need to do something. They need a bigger women's division. As funny as that sounds, I know what would fix the women's divisions and women's fighting and people's things. The problem is they're all 115 pounds.
And I feel like also
we don't care when the men, they're 125 pounds.
But I also
125 pounds. No one gives a shit about men fighting 125 pounds. It don't matter if you're 50-0 and you knock everyone out. No one cares because it's like, yeah, but the fucking security guard at Walmart would throw you out the door. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're 100 pounds. A big guy will pick you up and throw you. Like, at the end of the day, there's just no one respects it. So when you see these just petite, tiny women, just their hands are just flying back and forth the whole fight. They each land and throw 200 punches, and no one has any damage. It's they're pillow fighting sometimes, and it's because you're picking somebody that's not going to be extremely strong and muscular.
And I think
you start picking from a crop of women who weigh from 170 to 140 to 190 pounds, 200 pounds, and they could either cut or gain. You get a big enough gap where they could fit some sort of super heavyweight division or whatever the hell they want to call it. I don't know what they would want to call it for women because clearly they don't want to do it. You laughed at the idea of even a women's heavyweight division. No one takes it serious, but I think that's what I'm saying. If you actually put some women in there that got some pop, you know what I'm saying? Imagine if Venus and Serena Williams, imagine Serena, if she trained MMA her whole fucking life. She would have been 160. Imagine she walked up in there. Clarissa Shields. This then brings over people like boxers, Clarissa Shields, who can't drop down to 125 and fight Shevchenko. Right. I'm sorry, Clarissa Shields just is not built like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but she can fight if you give her some better parameters.
And I don't know if they have enough fighters to do that, but also I think maybe some of the fighters from bantamweight would be more active because they wouldn't have to cut the extra 10 pounds to make 135 or however.
Maybe you get more activity, more diversity. Everything could be a little bit better, I think, if they expand it. I just don't know. The idea of bigger women, I think it's about eye appeal a little bit. I don't know what could be the excuse other than that. Like why wouldn't you want a heavyweight division for women? Why are they all have to be 5'2" and 115 pounds to like fight? It feels very restrictive. Men can fight in all body types. We've seen it. We've seen heavyweights who are 6'7", who are like, Volkov might even be taller than 6'7". And then guys like what's his name? Chris whatchamacallit, who did the front flip kick.
Oh, Chris Curtis.
Not Chris Curtis.
No, not Chris. Barnett.
Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett, who's just like super athletic, but he's 5'9" and he's in the heavyweight, but he's also really chubby and kind of like, stocky.
Mm. You
see all different types in one division there alone. You don't really see that in women's. All the women are kind of built the same. That's why Wei Lee stuck out.
Right.
When you see a girl walk in there that's built like Figueiredo, you're like, oh, well, prime Figgy. I don't know about now.
And you're surprised she's making 115.
And you're like, what? Well, now, yeah, I'm really surprised she's making 115. She doesn't look as muscular as when she came up.
Mm. Off the roids.
She's off the roids. Well, I think she also fought at 125, right? Did she ever fight 125 or no? She was always 115.
I thought she was always 115.
Well, yeah, it might have been she was always 115 then. I don't think she ever fought at 125.
But I think the activity could go up if you had a heavyweight women's division too.
Right.
You'd see the fighters, 3 or 4 times a year rather than seeing them 3 or 4 times in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. We don't see the Bullet as much as we want.
Yeah, well, Shevchenko is usually pretty active, regardless.
I want more Bullet.
Yeah, she's pretty active.
What does she fight? 1.5 times a year?
She fought. She last fought in September, and then she fought last night. That's a pretty long layoff, though. That's 8 months.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 fights a year, 3 fights every 2 years. That's what we're getting from most of them.
Let's see. Yeah, she fights. Yeah, the women's division, they're not super active usually.
Yeah. Just gonna leave the hat like this. I'm gonna rock it like T.I.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look like T.I. You look like 04 T.I.
This is how I'm feeling today. Hold on. I got make sure I got the chain out too.
Oh, my fault.
I'm feeling right.
Paul King,
This is how we walk up in there when we've been up in the garden, In
Boston.
This is how we do it in Southie. We do it for the town. It's the best movie ever.
Do it for Ben Affleck.
For Affleck. We do it for him. We do it for Maki Wahlberg.
Matt Damon.
Donnie Wahlberg. We go eat at Wahlburgers. I don't care where you park your car. Let's put a quarter in the machine.
Man.
Oh, man. What the royalties of being from the Boston area.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Somehow we got more of a New York accent.
Yeah.
More than a Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but that's Springfield. We're in the middle of Boston and New York City. And I feel like, you got a lot of people that are like, I'm from New York. You got a lot of people that are from Boston. And it's like this in the middle type town. And that's why, we got a lot of Knicks fans in the area. Your pops is a Knicks fan right there in Connecticut. Connecticut's just got to be Knicks. Anything New York, really. But there's some Connecticut people who are also Boston, like it's in this crossroads of two major markets. And you just have a lot of people who have family and gravitate towards either one.
I don't see a lot of it, though. I feel like I see more New York.
Yeah, more New York and Connecticut. Connecticut loves to claim New York more than Massachusetts.
Right.
But at the same time, Connecticut tries to be its own thing. And that's where they go wrong.
They got no sports teams.
No sports teams or anything, but a lot of people are weirdos in Connecticut.
Well, you
go to the flea market, you meet a lot of weird people.
You do. I'm glad I don't go.
This is the most insane, smelly people.
Insane.
Like, where do you come from? Where do they make you? In the lab? These people exist. Where does he work? What?
At the flea market.
At the flea market.
He's been working there since he was 10.
Just keeps working the flea. I'm telling you, it really is just funny as hell. There's some of the people you meet there.
Yeah.
But that's CT. Springfield, a very different place. I think it's a very dangerous place. But you gotta move with caution.
Mm.
But know what you're doing. Know where you at. And don't get caught lacking.
All right.
No, I'm not that serious or what?
Oh, you're right.
Right? Like, do you want to move to Springfield?
No, that's why I'm in Enfield.
That's what I'm saying. When it really comes down to it, what's the truth?
But I'm still what, 10 minutes away from Springfield.
Right. It's better in Enfield anyway.
Yeah.
I like all the stuff they have over there.
So many stores.
Yeah.
Got everything here.
Enfield's the spot. They have everything. You got basically like every store you'd ever see in a mall or whatever. You got a Best Buy.
Within like a 2 or 3 mile radius.
Right. So you get anything. You go to Friendly's.
I just went a couple weeks ago.
See?
I haven't been to Friendly's in a while.
I love Friendly's. I miss Friendly's so much. I actually found a Friendly's ice cream one time at the grocery store. And that was probably like the best moment I had out here. So it was one and it was on clearance. It had like a red sticker, like it was expired or some shit. And I'm like, where the fuck was that?
You would take expired Friendly's ice cream over any California brand ice cream?
Yeah.
That's how good it is.
That's how good it is. I mean, come on now. Like this is what it is. This is Western Mass. We got the best of the best.
Mm.
We're the city of firsts.
Basketball.
City of homes. And in the home of basketball. City of basketball. But
bars.
Holyoke is the city of volleyball. And the paper city. Because they used to make a lot of paper. They had all those warehouses and paper mills. I don't think West Springfield got anything. They ain't got it popping like Springfield.
All right.
What else we got? So we obviously we're just running laps around the Knicks right now. That's pretty much all we're really doing.
Yeah, I don't
just repping the hometown. All about Boston.
I mean, the thing is, like, the Celtics played horrible through the first 2 games, and the Knicks still only won by 3 and 1 point. So it gives me a lot of confidence, and it's like you can't shoot much worse than you did the first 2 games. from outside the 3-point line and inside. I mean, they shot horrible, whether they were beyond the 3-point line or inside the 3-point line. So, something was bound to happen. Something had to give for them. So I don't know. I can see them rattling off the next 4 games, to be honest, because they've led by 20 or more points in each of the first 3 games. And no one has.
It's just going to continue. Like, they seem to be the better team in every way. You know, this is Wingstop, though. You know, remember that. I feel like the Nova Knicks, they killed the Nova Knicks once they traded Dante. And then it became Wingstop. What happened to that? OG had 2 points yesterday and 0 steals.
And then in the game before, he didn't do anything either.
So,
on factor
what's
this.
up with Wingstop? That's what I want to know. They talked all that shit all year about Wingstop, and that's why they built it. They built 2 of the best defenders, wing defenders in the league. They put them together to stop the other 2 best offensive wings in the league, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It's not by accident. They built it on purpose.
And it's not working.
And it's not working. And I just think Wingstop needs to be called out and addressed. And you know why? Because, I mean, look who they had. Jalen Green on the Wingstop commercials. Every time I see a Wingstop commercial, it's Jalen Green in the back seat of a car with his nails painted. And he's like, it's good. Like, it's the dumbest fucking commercial in the world. And it makes me not want to have wings. Because what does that mean? Like, if you're going to represent your company with Jalen Green, does that mean it's going to be good one every 5 or 6 times I have it?
Why are we talking
about Jalen Green?
Why are we talking about Jalen Green?
Well, I'm talking about Wingstop. And then I'm going on a rant about Wingstop's actual commercials. And then bringing it back to basketball by their commercial has Jalen Green in it and representing Wingstop all over is fraud. And that's what I'm saying. Wingstop in general. The food and the nickname is all bogus.
Okay.
It's all cap. And I'm telling you right now, they need the cap stop. That's what Wingstop needs to do. Because Wingstop ain't stopping nobody.
All right. I see what you did there.
Wingstop stinks. And look at this. Jalen Green, like I said, if Jalen Green's good out of one in every 5 games, right? 1 every 4 games, he has a good performance. So is that what you want to represent Wingstop?
I guess.
1 every 4 times I go to Wingstop, it's a good meal. 1 every 4 times. The other 3 meals, we just got to say, oh, they got potential. They tried. They're going to get there eventually. Is that what you would accept?
I guess Wingstop is.
You know, or would you want more of like a Jimmy Butler to represent Wingstop? You know, when doubted, buy low and get high value. You know, like that's the type of guy you want as your brand ambassador. Somebody who gets the job done, gets you to the finals. He might not win it, but he was never supposed to be there. He was never supposed to be the best. Never claimed to be the best. He just went out there and was the best.
Okay.
And that's the type of person you need to represent your brand. It's all a mindset. And when I see Jalen Green in the back seat of a car eating Wingstop with painted fingernails, I'm like, that doesn't inspire me, bro. Like, I don't relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, on a real level, I don't relate to having painted fingernails and sitting in the backseat of a car eating chicken nuggets. Like, that's like childish. It's like a girl, a kid would be eating nuggets in the back of a car backseat of a car getting driven around with her painted nails and her little chicken nuggets. She just got picked up from school and she got her little chicken nuggets with her painted nails. Like that's what Jalen Green looks like at the Wingstop commercial. If you ever see the Wingstop commercial, just really stop and look at it. I just can't relate.
All right.
I don't sit in the backseat of cars eating chicken nuggets with my nails painted. Maybe if Jalen Green was like in the front seat of the car and was eating chicken, I'd be like, all right, that's something I relate to. So maybe this is something marketed towards the kids. The high school kids, the boys are painting their nails now. You know, they're eating Wingstop in the backseat of their parents' cars. Maybe it's for Jalen Green and he's marketing towards the kids because it's missing me.
It's for the kids.
I just see it as it's going to be good one every 4 to 5 times because that's what Jalen Green is. He's going to drop 20, 25, one every 4 games. He's going to wow you, a couple things, a little zing, but that's it.
A little zing.
A little zest. You know, that's just what it is. He's Wingstop. You want some zesty little wings with a little spice? There you go. But you're not getting a every time.
Okay. It was a good rant.
And that's kind of what Wingstop is in New York, too. It's this trick-or-treat type thing. You don't even know what you're getting from OG Anunoby every night. You don't know what you're getting from Bridges. Bridges has been terrible on defense all season. And then he comes up with 2 clutch plays back-to-back, you know, and does some special things. So, come to say, you don't know what you're getting from these guys at Wingstop.
All right. That was quite the rant.
But it comes full circle.
Comes full circle. There you go.
It comes expeditiously.
All right. What are we going to do about this fantasy league?
Oh, okay. About the fantasy league. So I tweeted it out.
I saw one person responded.
One person responded? You didn't even tell me.
Well, it was an hour.
You're not going to tell T.I.?
Well, I figured you've seen it eventually.
Oh, hold on.
I don't know who this is.
Two people liked it too. I'm gonna just DM them and say, hey.
The thing is, no one's gonna join. You put up a Holly Rowe gif.
I thought it was funny.
Holly Rowe ruined it.
I ruined it.
No, Holly Rowe did.
Oh, okay. She did. As long as she ruined it. Dang. That's pretty funny. Hold on. I had Monique Billings subbed in on my fantasy. What's going on? On my fast break. It's preseason, trying to win some money.
Oh, you can bet on the preseason too?
Bro, you don't do Top Shot. You don't know what's going on.
No, you can do it.
Hey, let me tilt my hat a little more. You don't do Top Shot. You gotta get on Top Shot, man. You're missing out on all the good stuff. I got preseason stuff. I got a lot of things going. I got a lot of things in the works. I got 10K in parlays for the WNBA season lined up.
10K.
If Angel Reese gets less than 13.3 rebounds, we eating lobster. And I'm allergic.
I'm a virgin.
I'm buying EpiPens for dinner. I'm eating the whole lobster, and then I'm hitting the EpiPen.
My God.
That's how we living. That's how the rich live.
Man.
Nah, but hopefully we find some people who will join the fantasy league. Coming soon.
I didn't realize trying to get 4 people to join would take this long. Or be this difficult.
I know. It is what it is. $10. So I'll send it to you, Pat Spencer, Rich Spencer. There's a Cam Spencer.
There is a Cam Spencer.
They both went on Old Man and the Three this week. It's pretty funny.
UConn champ.
Yeah. And Cam Spencer also played lacrosse. It was funny to hear that, like, them meeting each other, and they're like, their last names are the same. They're both former lacrosse players in college, and they made it to the NBA.
Pretty cool.
It's just interesting, and they have the same last name, and it's a 3-letter first name, Pat Spencer, Cam Spencer. It's cool. They're both like 6'4" guards, They don't play similarly, though, because Pat Spencer's not a shooter. Cam Spencer's a sniper. So there's the difference there.
And he talks a bunch of shit.
Yeah. But Pat's an interesting player. He just does a whole bunch of unconventional shit. He doesn't make any sense on a basketball court. He tries to score too much. I think that's his one flaw, is that he actually is overly aggressive in his shot attempts. I've seen him shoot way too much, where I'm like, all right, Pat Spencer, relax a little bit. And that was maybe towards more the end of the regular season and things like that. It was a little bit in the playoffs. He got some attempts up, and I was questioning a lot of them. I think Kuminga would be better, and finally Kuminga's actually in and proving he can do better. But maybe he just can't exist with Curry.
Kuminga, yeah. I mean, Kerr's finally giving him the minutes.
He has to because Curry's out.
And I like him.
You need somebody with that type of scorer's mentality, but not Pat Spencer.
Right.
You can't let him get 10-plus attempts in a playoff game. I think that's completely irrational and irresponsible to do. I mean, let's just be real. I'm not trying to dog Pat Spencer, but he should not get 10 attempts a game in the playoffs. We're talking about Curry's legacy here. Like Jimmy Butler trying to get his first ring and Curry's 5th, passing LeBron. Because him and LeBron are tied right now at 4. Like, this is legacy shit. LeBron's already out. Curry's on the next round, but he just fucking pulled a hammy. He needs his team to buy him a little time, and he's gonna come back and try to, really take his team to the next level. Who knows what happens? We'll see. But I think Curry, him not being there, it's just like it's done if he can't play.
Yeah, I think
truly it's done because, like I said, they're giving Pat Spencer these attempts. They finally went to Kuminga in Game 3.
He played really well.
And he did. He proved himself. So let's see if they could turn it on from there. But, yeah, there seems to just be this issue with Kuminga. And as long as Kuminga's the problem in Steve Kerr's eyes and Curry can't play with Kuminga and all that shit, if Curry comes back, that means Kuminga's to the bench, which could mean good things because obviously that's what I'm talking about. Curry is the whole reason why the team works. I just don't know if he comes back and actually does that. It's a hammy. People don't come back in a few days from hammies.
And they were saying Game 6 at the earliest, so that doesn't even sound that optimistic either. But I think if they can win, Game 4 or 5, You can get Curry back later in the series. He's rested. I think it could be trouble for Minnesota, but they really got to put the Warriors away now while they have the chance.
I think they will.
Yeah, I do too. You don't really have because you just don't know what you're going to get from Kuminga every night. That's the thing. I mean, he's had 2 pretty good scoring performances. He had 30 last night. And then the other thing, you just don't know how aggressive Butler's going to be.
Right.
And if you don't have Butler and Kuminga scoring, who else is really going to go? I mean, Buddy Hield, of course, he had that one big game. He shot okay last night, but he's not going to take over the game. Podziemski really hasn't shot well this series.
What the fuck was Buddy Hield doing in the first half? He had 0 points. Like, he was doing nothing.
Yeah, and then Podziemski hasn't played well. Draymond Green, his head's not even in the game anymore. They don't really have much off the bench.
Draymond mentioned I need to tilt it a little more.
It's going to be off your head in a second.
Almost.
But yeah, I feel like the Warriors don't have enough.
Yeah. They don't, and it's unfortunate. I think they need to do something in the offseason and get a real big. You know, they're just like bouncing around with Looney and Quentin Post and obviously Draymond doing his thing, but there needs to be something else.
Well, now they started Trace Jackson Davis last night, and he didn't play a lot.
Him with his beard, him and Pat Spencer with their facial hair.
I thought
it's Trace Jackson Davis. Like, what the fuck is he doing? But he's decent. I mean, he gets boards, he catches lobs. I always liked Trace Jackson Davis. What is it, TJD? They were calling him.
But
a little bit.
I like him better than Post right now because Post has been awful in the playoffs.
Yeah, he can't defend. He could hit a shot, but I mean, I think he's going to go cold. He's a young guy. Young guys typically go cold in the playoffs.
That's the only thing he can do is shoot threes. If he's not shooting threes, he's not really doing anything for you because he's not a great rebounder. He can't defend. He doesn't really try to score inside the paint.
Yeah, I'd rather have Dale Davis's son setting screens and rolling because he's pretty damn good at it. So, yeah, Trace Jackson Davis, he's the man. And I think that because I've been telling you from the beginning, from the draft, it's TJD. It's not Hood Schifino. Hood Schifino is the trap. He's just a guard benefiting from TJD being a good big. And it's proven.
Mm-hmm.
He's an undersized, really good big. And I hope he works out for the Warriors. I feel like they gave him more of a leash last year. This year, he's cut off. They love Quentin Post for the spacing. But, yeah, young guys, their shooting always falls off in the playoffs. As soon as the playoffs hit, it's actually been a problem with Pritchard, too. Pritchard, I don't think of it, even him as a young guy anymore. But he's still having this issue off the bench, not being able to produce in the playoffs.
But last game he did.
Yes.
Yesterday that was probably his best game this postseason. Maybe one of the best games of his postseason career. So
I'm saying, finally, he actually, the one game was yesterday, but not his whole career. We're waiting for that. Is he finally matured enough to have good playoff games? Because these young guys struggle every single time. It's just proven. And that's why I wonder with the Thunder how far they could go. I think that's an issue. There are a lot of young guys, a lot of unproven guys. And it's just going to be Shea having the cook. And the problem comes when the whistles don't blow. Shea scores 18 points. He had 0 attempts. His only playoff game was 0 attempts ever, and he scores 18 points. That's very telling, Mr. Free Throw Merchant. If people are going to say that's your career lowest score in a playoff game, and you also got no free throws. So there might be some sort of correlation with the two. And if he's not getting the whistle, and that's what happens in the playoffs, the refs swallow their whistles, now you got nothing.
Right.
That's how it be. But You've been thinking about your fantasy squad and who you're going to pick? You got like a top three that you got in mind?
If I had a top three, well, Asia would be the clear number one. Collier would be two. See, they have Stewie projected to go two. I mean, to finish second in total scoring, but I don't know how healthy she's going to be to start the season. That's why I probably put Collier at two. I still like they have. Yeah, I probably put Thomas at three. So I put Asia Wilson, Fisa Collier, and Alyssa Thomas. And now Thomas is playing with. I mean, she's playing with Satu and Copper. It's going to be dimes all over the place from her.
Yeah.
And
I'm really interested in that pairing. I wonder if Satu is going to flourish. I think she will.
Yeah, if Satu can stay healthy, to me, she's an MVP candidate.
I just don't know how much screens and everything else they're going to have Satu setting. Like, what is this offense going to look like?
Yeah.
Who are the guards? You got to see about the point guards coming off the bench and things like that.
Yeah, it's still kind of an odd team to me. I just don't know.
You don't got Griner anymore. First year without Griner for real. I mean, they've had years without Griner from injury and suspension and also the Russia thing. But
also Taurasi.
This is the first time without her for real. And Taurasi retired. So this is a totally new team, new leadership, new voices in the locker room, new faces.
Yeah, it should be interesting because they don't really have a whole lot after that big three, even though that's probably one of the best big threes in the league.
Right. That's the big three I wanted in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's nasty.
I always wanted Copper. I was saying it when she was on the Sky. Let's trade for Copper, do everything. They're blowing the Sky up. They want picks, and that's what they did. They blew it up. They wanted picks. They got Reese and Camila Cardozo in the draft. They got exactly what they wanted. But instead, they traded with a different team for those picks instead of the Sun. And that was Phoenix. And Phoenix got Copper, and then now they got AT from the Sun. But they also got Satu Sabali coming over from Dallas. So I think they won the offseason.
Yeah.
The Connecticut Sun lost for sure. Worst team in the league, worse than the Valkyrie. There isn't a team worse than the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA.
The only thing is, like we talked about last week, I think their draft was good.
The draft was decent. We got a defender. I like the defender. We got Diamond DeShields, and I think she could probably show Sanaya Rivers how to play on that side and just be kind of a transition nightmare. Use your speed, use your length, and just make plays happen. That's what Diamond DeShield does. That's what Sanaya Rivers could do. Anissa Morrow, on the other hand, I think she could learn a thing or two from Tina Charles. You know, Tina Charles doesn't get off the ground much, but she's very long, and she's 6'4". She's always had a good frame, great positioning, and super strong base. So I think a lot of those qualities apply to Anissa Morrow, except the length part and the height. But she gets off the ground. Morrow, sky for boards. So maybe she just gets some veteran leadership and some stuff from her. But for the most part, I think Anissa Morrow is going to go out there and play next to Tina Charles and have a good time.
I agree.
I just don't know if Diamond DeShields and Sanaya Rivers are going to be great next to each other.
Right.
But I think there's similar skill sets and something Sanaya could develop into and actually grow and be better. And Diamond DeShields was once a first overall pick. So that's something. She's a high talent player, but just hasn't really came around to fulfilling all her talents. But I mean, she had the heart surgery. Diamond DeShields has had a bunch of shit go wrong. And you can't really knock her for it because certain medical things you can never really judge. That's why the whole Bronny thing, I don't try to get on Bronny's back for nothing. Except maybe that he did kind of make it to the league in a way that you wouldn't think he would have. You just wish he would have made it under better circumstances. But there's just a lot of things, like even health reasons and everything else. You go from the college game, and the demands are 30 games a year. You're going to now G League and NBA requirements and 82 games plus playoffs. It's just like it's actually more of a health risk, if anything.
Yeah, it's almost triple.
Yeah, like I don't know, like there are some things where you could actually argue against it and be like, what? Let him kind of get his health right and be a better player and be able to protect himself better and not be exhausted in the NBA. You know, like it takes a while to get your cardio up to be able to play in the NBA already. And now you're forcing this guy who came out off of cardiac arrest last year to play. I don't know. I'll get off that. Poor Bronny. But yeah, that's why I don't roast them. People with health problems and shit, like, ain't no way I'm gonna side with that every single time with serious health stuff. Like Jeff Green. Jeff Green could have been the man, but he had these heart issues, and he was dealing with stuff before he even really medically knew. He was dealing with stuff in his body, and he would say he didn't feel right some nights, and that's why he was more of an inconsistent player than anything, because his body wasn't right, and he proved it. He had heart surgery and a few other things as well. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta worry about your health. Brandon Roy, they said if he was going to keep playing, he probably couldn't even walk because his knees were so messed up. So he had to get a special knee replacement that he can't run around anymore, but he could still function.
Right.
You know? And there's some things you got to respect. Andrew Luck, he got like 6-7 concussions in a span of like 3 years. And he's like, man, I got this money. I'm retiring, and whatever happens to the rest of my check happens. Like, I'm out. I'm retiring early. I know I got 70 million or whatever, how many millions he had waiting. And he said, I'm out, dude. This is costing me my life. And you got to do that. So that's why, like I said, with Diamond DeShields, it's a blessing she's still playing basketball. And like I said, I hope she could kind of have some rub off on Sanaya Rivers with how they play, because Diamond DeShields turned into just like an all-out hustler dog. And that's what Sanaya Rivers got to be. Dog. And you know, if someone's got an eyebrow piercing, they got a little dog in them. There's something crazy. They got to screw loose somewhere where they get the enjoyment from the hustle, the grit.
Man.
I'm excited for the Sun. And plus, who knows what we'll get in the Mabry trade. You know, I like Mabry. I love Mabry, but that's it. We're done with the Sun. Like, we don't want to win. We don't want to do anything other than stack picks and grow our young players.
At least she played preseason.
Everyone's out. Yeah, she played one preseason game.
So maybe she will play her. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to like force a sit out, but she did in the beginning. She definitely didn't play the first preseason game as like a statement type thing.
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. I want to know where she's going to end up and who she what team she could be on, because like, what's the move? She's not going to end up with the Sky. That obviously the team she came from. She's probably not going to go to like the Valkyries or something unless it's like a contract issue and no team could afford her salary or something. Like, I don't know. I'd have to do the research.
Not Dallas.
Not Dallas because of Dejanay.
Well, no. I mean, she's cool with Dejanay, but she already didn't she already request a trade out of Dallas too? She was already with Dallas.
She was already with Dallas and already with Dejanay, and they had their beef. They squashed it. They're friends now, but it's like, I think they're good. You know, like that was like a time. Like they're good now, but it's not about like, hey, I'm now gonna follow you to another team.
Right. Maybe Seattle.
I like that. With Skylar Diggins, you got Mabry, NECA, and Ezzy. I like that. Jordan Horston's still there. You got Alicia Clark just signed over there. What?
Horston's out for the season. Yeah.
Well, what?
I think she has an ACL injury.
Damn.
I like Horston too. He's a really good player.
That's crazy. I didn't know Horston was out.
But still, Seattle would be a good option.
Or you send her to Minnie. I think we talked about that last week. That was the team that we picked last week. Because I said I want Diamond Miller.
Oh yeah. Minnesota could be a good fit for her, I think.
I think she'd kill it in Minnesota.
Yeah, it'd be those two.
That's a real championship roster. If they land her for Diamond Miller and you replace some of those minutes, Kayla McBride's going to be out for a minute. Natisha Heidemann isn't the best ball handler compared to Mabry. I think Mabry's way better facilitator in every way, better defender, better everything. So I'd rather have Mabry getting those minutes. And if I'm the GM of the Dream, I'm the GM of the Lynx, I'm the GM of the Storm, I'm calling her up. If I'm the GM of the motherfucking Aces, I'm still calling her up too, just in case. But I'm like, hey, this is a bench roll that could open up if something happens.
Right.
But that would be smart to have if they could swing a trade. Because imagine if you could, let's say Chelsea Gray has some issues or something, You slide Mabry in the Chelsea Gray spot, I think she could fill her shoes slightly.
Right.
Because Mabry could hoop. And she could really play make.
Los Angeles, maybe.
Maybe her and Plum.
I mean, I like Minnesota and Seattle better, but I could see LA too.
Yeah, you seen Pow Pow went off.
Yeah,
she looked good. It was like one thing on Clark I seen a bucket on, and it's like I don't know if this defense is as hard as what we're talking about. And anyway, she caught a little.
But it's not saying much scoring a bucket on Clark, though.
Right. It really isn't too much. She caught it off a screen. Clark got hit off the screen and everything. It wasn't some ISO, break you down, bust your ass. It wasn't that type of thing. So it was just a play in the game.
Yeah.
She looked good, though. I mean, she was scoring. She shot well. She looks happy. She looks confident. And I think that's what that bucket and that's what that game represented for Pow Pow. I think she's going to be all right. She's going to have a good year.
Yeah.
She might win Rookie of the Year.
Pump the brakes. Going a little far there, buddy.
It's not going to be Paige.
No, it is.
It might be Anissa Morrow.
Could be Anissa Morrow, too. That's definitely possible.
Yeah. Did the Valkyries get a good draft pick?
I feel like they were like 6th or 7th. Let's see.
Yeah. 2025 WNBA draft.
They got the 5th.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe the Storm took Malonga. I guess I get it. But I'm like, damn, you got Ezzy. Like, are you going to make a trade? Is Ezzy going to be a piece that moves? Would that be something? Who would trade for Ezzy?
Because they got a really good front court already with Agumake and Magbagor. But Agumake is getting older, so maybe that's going to be her replacement.
Maybe Ezzy goes to the 4. And I heard, what's her name? Georgia Moore tore ACL.
Yep.
So that Mystics guard, she's out.
They keep getting killed with injuries.
She was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
What about Cintron? Like, what does she do?
She's a pretty good shooter. She's a good scorer. She was really good at Notre Dame.
Okay. A good scorer. I know Kiki. Kiki's going to be all right. From USC, Kiki Irfin.
Yeah, she played at Stanford, too.
Yeah, she did. Oh, that's Justy Joyce Day. I don't know. They drafted international.
Yeah, she's from Lithuania.
So, like, No, we know nothing about this girl.
No, I know nothing about
A
it.
6'1" forward that we know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the WNBA draft.
Yeah, after the first round.
Right? I mean, we got Anissa Morrow, then Sanaya Rivers, back-to-back picks.
Yeah, those were 2 good picks.
They were. I mean, Rivers just can't really score like that, but I like everything else she does. I don't think she's going to score well in the W. It's going to be transition buckets and like cuts, backdoor cuts through the lane. That's how she's going to score.
All right.
I don't see it being set threes. I don't see it being any of that.
Well, she's not a good shooter right now.
No.
We'll see.
And I guess Haley Van Lith and Asia James, 11 and 12. Asia James was a good pick.
Yeah.
Really good pick. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, wings. They take Paige and take Asia James.
Yeah.
And then they took Madison Scott. They took another guard.
Loading up on the guards.
And scoring guards, too.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Who did they draft in the 3rd round? Another guard, J.J. Quinterly. Isn't that weird? Draft 4 guards, 1 draft.
Felt like they needed them.
I felt like they needed a forward. They lost Natasha Howard and Satu and Billings.
They're worried about Enrique.
I guess they're really worried about Enrique. Maybe she's on the move. Maybe she's going to get traded. What if it's the Storm trading for –
I'm not going that far.
Trading Ezzy for Enrique?
I don't know if they're doing that.
I don't know. Me neither.
Belief in Paige, then.
Sounds crazy. Yeah. Anything else?
What do we got? Got 2 playoff games today.
Okay.
Take the Thunder and Cavs.
Thunder and Cavs.
I think that's about it, though.
Yeah, I think I'm the same with you. I think Cavs are going to win out now that they have all of their team back.
As long as they stay healthy, I got Cavs. I think I had Cavs in 5 or Cavs in 6 originally, but as long as they're fully healthy, I think they're going to run through the Pacers.
Yeah, so Cavs getting the dub, Thunder getting the dub. Book it. Just don't book our UFC picks anymore. After last week, this was rough.
That was tough.
But I'm glad I got my pick switched at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I'm like, yeah, I got to tell you. I got to let you know. JDM, he's going to win. He's going to get the dub. Bilal's dried out. He didn't have enough, and he didn't. It looked like it. He didn't have enough gas to fully step on it and do what he had to do like he does every time.
Right.
So, it happens. But. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Rich, anything?
Season 6.
Season 6 of WNBA.
Friday. Hopefully the draft.
And we have our draft on Tuesday. So we're looking forward to it. If you want to join our draft, hit us up. But, all right, y'all. Happy Mother's Day. Peace.
Adios.